Yo, welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, conversations on lifestyle, passions, and hustles. My name's Chris, I am your host, and I'm super excited to be back here having the conversation with you. Episode 235 today, and we're talking about, there's a couple of prompts here that I want to go through and, work through with you and talk about and discuss, and it's just going to be a little bit of banter back and forth between you and me. But the topic and the theme is around chasing more versus choosing enough. And there's some core themes around here, which I think it can be a fine balance to balance both of these areas within the world. And that is there's this lens that the world worships hustle and we forget the power of enough. There's always this more, or go, or do. Now, I talk about a lot of, if you want things, you got to go take action. This is a little different of a culture mindset. This episode's more exploring how constantly, if we're always chasing more success, more attention, more validation, all these different things, it can actually be a distraction from what life's already built for you. And there's about 4 or 5 talking points that I've got today that I really want to, it's for that we're going to break down, we're going to go through, I'm going to give my thoughts. But, it's really for you to go through yourself as well. And there's no right or wrong answer to this. It's literally just us having a conversation. I'll be talking about some prompts. I'll give my perspective. You can do this yourself in your own time, in your own space, in your own environment. But it's really, we got to be weighing up, okay, what are we chasing too much of? And where are we not, or where should we be choosing? This is enough. This is good enough, right? And there's no wrong or right answer to this. It's about what's comfortable for you, but making sure that we're not, missing out on some of those opportunities of what we could have more of, but also where we could probably just take it easy. So that's what we're talking about today. We're going to roll the intro and let's get into it. All right, so the first talking point, and I just looking at my notes, is the myth of just one more thing. I think it's very, very easy to convince ourselves we'll feel better once we hit X subscribers. Like if you're coming from a YouTube perspective, or when we make Y revenue. Now, that can relate to that because I run a business and each year I'm trying to do more revenue and build the business to a bigger and bolder position. Or maybe it's like, if you could run this kilometer, or if you could hit this many reps, or if you could run this fast, or I'm talking things that are relevant to myself. But, for everyone, it's going to be different. If you work in, maybe you work in sales and, you're competing with peers and, someone's doing $100,000 in sales, you're doing 50,000. So maybe you're always trying to get to that next level. But the thing is, when you get to those levels, I remember when so we're going to do our first, it might even be close to this video coming out. Probably not too much. I think by the time this video comes out, we're probably about 3 weeks away from hitting our first $1 million in the business. Since starting for 5 years. And it's going to be, estimating when I looked at it last time, it was about 1,736 days or something. Right, so that, it's 5 years. It's taken a while. It's a good progress. But when I think about that, when I start to then forecast, well, how long will it take us to do our second 1 million? It's only going to take, 740 days or something, based on, averages and things like that. So you already start to think, okay, well, now that I got 1 million, let's get to 2 million. Or how quickly can we get to the next million? Already, I'm not even there and I'm already thinking about it. So it is very easy to get stuck on this. And we need to really start to ask ourselves, are we chasing progress or avoiding presence? Or what are we really chasing here? What do we want? And I spoke about this a few weeks ago that, are you happy but not satisfied, or are you satisfied? And for me, I'm chasing satisfaction. I'm happy with my life, I'm happy with things, but I'm not satisfied because I know there's more I can give and there's more I can get. But we need to be careful that the finish line doesn't keep moving. And it does. It tends to always keep moving. There's always something else. There's always another carrot to chase. So that's the thing we really need to be asking ourselves, and that's the premise of this whole, conversation for today. But then when we move to point 2, which is when growth becomes greed. At some point, growth can turn into this fear of stillness, right? I struggle with this. I don't like getting complacent. I don't like things being calm and easy, because to me, it's like, if this is comfortable, calm and easy, it's like, I've got time to be doing more. I can up my capacity. I can take on more. We can get more output. And that can be good and bad. Now, I'm in a growth stage of the business and in my life. There's areas in my life I don't have commitments on, so I do have the ability to be able to do these extra things. And I go hard on that because I see that opportunity. But it's not realistic that you can keep seeing the constant growth, like back to back to back to back. I mean, I want it, but can I do it? And then you're going to ask yourself, well, excuse me, just yawned. But then you're going to ask yourself, it's like, well, why are you doing it? And why do you want it? And what are you doing it for? So, which leads to the next point is, are you building something meaningful or just building to stay busy? So, and this comes back to a core concept that we speak about here on the channel all the time, which is, if you know what you want, what is your purpose? What is your passion? What are you working towards? Why are you doing this? What is the thing that you want? By doing this, are you going to get closer to where you want to be? But if you don't know where you want to be, you can't really do all those things. So that's why when I talk about, when I'm building my business and I'm, thinking about furthering my lifestyle, I'm thinking about over 5-10 years plans, and then there'll be even further than that down the line. Because I'm only 5 years into my business. I know I had a bit of a 10-year plan when I started this. So really we're only halfway. So I've still got to buckle up and do a lot more. But then it's, in the next few years, I'm going to have to start thinking, well, what does the next 5 years after that look like? But does it have to look like constant growth? Or can it be, oh, well, if 10 years we hit where I want to be, does that mean we can change things? Does that mean I can change my life? Does that mean I can go do the other things that I wish these dreams turn into a reality? Right? So there's lots to think about there, but it is very easy to fall into this trap of there's always something else, or there's always this goalpost moving. So number 3 is the power of declaring this is enough. So, understanding being satisfied doesn't mean you lack ambition. Again, a struggle point for myself, I'm being honest here, because I am ambitious and I'm happy, but as I said before, I'm not satisfied with where I am because I know that I can take this further. But you got to also understand, just because you are happy and satisfied doesn't mean that you lack the ambition. It just means you know how to recognize when what you've already got is beautiful. Now, what I already have is beautiful. The business, the lifestyle, all these different things. But there's still things which I know it's not sustainable, right? And that's where the satisfaction point comes in, because I know this is great. I'm loving it. We're making progress. We're all working towards where I want to be, but we're not there yet. So until we get there, and until I know that I've got this, there's a certain bunch of variables and things of outcomes that I want from my goals, that's when I know, that's when I need to be having the tough conversation of this is enough, right? And contentment is a skill. It's not a destination. It's a very hard skill to actually own in having contentment, because there's always something else. There's always something more. There's people coming along with opportunities. There's the next thing or the new trend. It's very, very hard to retain contentment. So I guess number 4, the question or the prompt asking myself, when did you realize you already had what you had once wished for? They're the pinch moments. And I've had multiple times I've had those situations. A good example is with my running, when I was able to I was doing half marathons, once or twice a month. I had done, 3 ultras. And, I was working towards my 3rd ultra. I've done 2 ultras. And then when I had the injury and that's taken away, you start to realize, geez, I had it all. But I also know that I hadn't actually got to my full dreams yet. But then you can look back and I went out and did a 3.5K run this morning, and that run was it felt harder than doing a half marathon, because I'm at the start again, and that's tough. But there's still moments when we've been in our warehouse now for 7-8 months, and I walk in and I'm just like, whoa, how did we get here? But just because we're here doesn't mean it's all figured out. There's still so many things to figure out. So I think that's where I'm able to comfortably say, no. I can't just stop and take it easy, because no, we're not actually in the position where I'm confident that is okay. And it's not about confident in terms of, yeah, sure, I would love to do that and, enjoy that. But the reality is there's still too many unknowns. There's still too many variables, and there's still too many, I don't have that consistency of results that I want to be able to be, comfortably secure in, whether it's profits or whatever. So I think it's really important that you do have these tough conversations with yourself. Now, this comes down to work, it comes down to career, it comes down to, your business, it comes down to running, it comes down to us, trying to have a big, presence on social media, all these different things. It's relevant to you into the world that's relevant to you. So they're the 4 main points we need to be thinking about. There is a quote, I can't say where it's come from, because it doesn't say, but chasing more won't make you whole if you don't know how to be still with enough. And this is really important. And one thing that Carla and I have tried to consistently do is do more things on the weekend, or go away and be present with each other and spend time and find that balance. By me growing the business to having more people that work with me and under me or alongside me, means that I'm able to buy my time back and do more things that I would have been doing after hours or at home or on the weekend at the business. And that gives me the freedom of time and the ability to do these other things outside of work hours, and really manage that balance a lot better. So that's where I'm able to say, well, this is enough. But I also need to make sure that the mechanisms, the systems and the processes and the entity of a machine, which is enabling those things to occur, is running as a well-oiled machine as well. So it takes time to get there, but I think it is important. Like, when is enough enough? When are you calling it? What is your trigger to say this is now enough? And that's probably the question you'd ask. If you do not know at what point that you would be happy and satisfied at the same time to be able to say enough is enough, what is that? Write it down, put it somewhere, lock it away, and keep yourself honest to it, right? Come back to it every 3 months, come back to it every 6 months, come back to it every year. Keep yourself honest to yourself and make sure that you don't slip up. Because maybe you'll go too far and you'll lose it all. This applies to anything. That's it from me, folks. A quick and easy one. Really great prompts, really great things to be thinking about. And I would love to hear more from you. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, one, I encourage you, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please subscribe. You can leave a review if you're listening as well. You can continue the conversation. You can put a comment down below. We can continue this banter, have a chit chat. You can share your insights, your stories. I'd love to listen. But the other thing is like, if you think someone else needs to hear this, give it a share. That would mean the absolute world to me. And it helps us get in front of more people so we can help more people further their lifestyle. That's it from me, team. We'll be back here again next week. You take it easy, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Ciao!